Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. I'm Tom. As always, I'm with my wonderful, intelligent, gorgeous, very hardworking, Olympics-loving wife and co-host, Michelle.
Well, thank you so much, honey. You're always so generous with your compliments. I don't know that I live up to that, but thank you. And hi, everybody.
Generous. If anything, I'm underselling you, and everybody knows it. So it makes it very, very easy for me.
Oh, you're sweet.
Thank you for joining us, everybody, today. We are recording this episode on Sunday, August 4th, 2024. By the way, before we get into this episode, I wanted to kind of mention that we're sending out all our good thoughts for everybody that is on the west coast of Florida, up through the Big Bend, up the Panhandle, and then onward through Georgia and the Carolinas, as what is now Tropical Storm Debbie, and looks like it'll eventually become Hurricane Debbie, will be making its way up. Just like I said, keeping good thoughts for you, that you're safe and that everything goes okay for you. For us here, we have it pretty easy considering we're also in Florida. We are on the east coast of Florida and even a little bit southern east coast of Florida. So we will just get some somewhat strong winds and some rain. Like we'll get some of the outer bands of it. So nothing to worry about for us, but our thoughts are with everybody that is in the path of this storm.
Well said, baby.
Thanks. As for today's show, we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. Also, we are on social media. We are on Twitter.
X, formerly known as. I always forget to do that first. I need to jump in. And my brain needs to jump in.
We have a lot of things working with as always, every single week, a lot of things going with our brains. But this week, we've all had a little bit of the ick going through the house. First Scott got it, then Michelle got it. Now I kind of have it. So just kind of dealing with that. So just know if we're a little slow on the uptake for this week's episode, more than usual, we have at least a small bit of an excuse.
Right. We have that little nasally sound to our voices.
Right. Sudden, start hacking in the middle of something or whatever. Just know that's going on. But we're all on the mend here and doing better. So thank you very much. We are on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over, join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventures Facebook group. Also, we are on YouTube, and we're doing some fun stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, you're doing some amazing things.
More the reason than ever for you to want to subscribe to us on YouTube. We've already starting to boost that subscriber number. We'd like to boost it even more. So even if you don't do anything with YouTube usually, feel free to go over there and just subscribe to us because it helps us do so much more on that channel.
Yeah, and like I said, you've been doing an incredible new amount of videos. And I'm sure you're going to talk about that in a second.
We will. So we are at Hyperion Adventures Podcast there if you want to find us. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, and I want to remind people that we do have a newsletter that you can subscribe to. If you're not already doing that, just go to our website and get on that subscription list.
Yeah, and it's just once a week, maybe once every couple weeks, just depending on. Michelle, like I said, she was under the weather this week, so didn't get one out this week. But it's just one way to kind of stay involved with the show. And also Michelle scours the world to find the best sweepstakes that you might want to get involved with for a Disney trip or whatever it might be. So if you're looking for that sweepstakes where you might win that wonderful prize, well, Michelle will find that for you, and she always adds that to the newsletter.
Thank you.
So, before we get into this week's show, we are the Disney podcast of positivity. And so we like to look back on those high moments, those wonderful moments, those positive moments from the week that was. We call it My Favorite Thing from This Week. And when we do this, we always start with Michelle because she's wonderful. She's amazing. She's all things great in the world. She has the best lists. You're going to hear that very shortly, I think. She also does the best research. That's for sure. She also has the best My Favorite Thing from This Week. So, Michelle, what was your favorite thing from this week?
Well, I think the thing that's my favorite thing of the week is going to be something you're going to mention. I'm just guessing that. I don't know for sure. So I'm going to put another positive thing that really made me happy this week was I was doing some review of some of our plans for our upcoming Disney cruise in September. And I happened to take a look at the scheduled port arrival time that we had and noticed it had bumped us up to a half an hour earlier.
Ooh.
So I was super excited about that. I'm not sure why that happened or if it was just something freed up and the system allowed me to pick that time. But it was pretty fun to find out we can get aboard that ship a little earlier.
Or at least can arrive at the terminal that
Right.
much earlier, hopefully on the ship that much earlier. But yeah, I mean, we're so excited for that trip to begin with. And then, yeah, that's a nice extra bonus that we are excited about. So
Yeah.
that is a cool thing.
Totally unexpected. Never happened before like that. So
It was weird. We've
Yeah.
never seen that happen. But that is cool. That is cool.
Yeah. So I guess now we're to your favorite thing of the week, sweetie.
I have a few things that are my favorite things from this week. First of all, thanks to everybody who has given solid input and said good things about the Hyperion Mornings, which we started this week. That's the tentative name for it. And that's what we're going with for now. Always open for new suggestions for names for that show, but that is what we're doing live every morning on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook right now. 6:30 every morning, and then it also gets posted later. So I don't expect everybody, especially when you don't live in the East Coast time, is able to join us that early. So we are posting just a little 10-minute short little show, kind of seeing what's good in everybody's world.
Yeah, you do a wonderful job at it too, baby. And I think it's a great addition that you're doing that. And it gives some real up-to-date information to folks too.
Yeah, so easy to find on our YouTube channel. If you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, we are there too. And then I post it to Twitter and Threads and everything else later on. But yeah, it's 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. And then I sleep in a slight bit on the weekends. And it's 8 a.m. in the morning on the weekends. But we're planning on doing that pretty much every day.
Yeah.
There may be a day or two here or there that we have to skip for a variety of reasons. But I'm going to try and just kind of inject a little bit more positivity in the mornings as we go forward.
There's never enough you, baby.
There's way too much of me.
No.
Way too much. We even got a cameo from Michelle on Fridays, little Hyperion Mornings, which everybody is excited about.
Yeah.
Much rather wake up to her face than mine, that's for sure.
Oh, man, you're funny.
Some other things I really enjoyed from this week. We did get to go see Deadpool and Wolverine at
That's
the
the one.
theaters. Really, really enjoyed that film. We thought it was great. My only maybe, this is spoiler free, my only maybe critique is it was slightly longer, I think, than it necessarily needed to be, but it kept us involved, kept us laughing, kept us action filled all the way through. Really, really enjoyed that film. I don't know about you, Michelle.
Oh yeah, it's my favorite Deadpool film for sure. But yeah, I thought it was great storyline, and obviously very humorous throughout, and it's such a great film. I think everybody needs to see that one.
Really, well, maybe not the young kids. It is R-rated for a good reason. There's plenty of violence, plenty of raunchy talk in there. It is Deadpool,
right?
But it is a very good movie. Really, really enjoyed it. I can see why it's doing so well at the box office
For sure.
Yeah. The Olympics. The other thing that's some of my favorite things this week. We've really, really, really enjoyed the Olympics so far this year. I mean, especially because it's in Paris, and Paris is one of our favorite cities. We visited it several times, and to see these wonderful venues that they're having these events in, many places that we have visited at some point, and so there's a little nostalgia as well as seeing these amazing athletic performances involved. Just really, really thrilled with what's going on there in Paris.
Most definitely agree with you, and it's fun because sometimes we've been checking out. Because because of the venue, certain Olympic activities or events that we might not normally watch, and then kind of get to appreciate some additional sports.
Yeah, very much so. It's always some of the great things about it. One, I just love the Olympics because it's what the world should be, coming together on a friendly basis, showing there's more that brings us together than separates us, and competing on a friendly basis between these countries, and all these countries, all different athletes giving so much support to one another.
Right.
It's a wonderful, positive event almost always, and that's why we love the Olympics. But yeah, all that stuff thrown in, these amazing events that we don't get to watch very often, don't have maybe the particular interest in, but when suddenly the Olympics comes around, we are on there glued to all this interest, these things that we don't usually see these athletes compete in on a regular basis.
For sure.
Yeah. And then there's just one more little thing that I can't really talk about right now, but there's going to be more information about it next week. It's coming up in just a couple weeks on our episode. Some news we got this week we're very excited about. We'll be telling you more about that probably during next week's episode. So be prepared for that because we're excited.
Exactly.
Yes. So we did also get some My Favorite Things from this week from a couple of our listeners. This came from Chris from the Maz's Musings podcast. He said, "Hi, Tom and Michelle. My best thing of the week was that I successfully navigated the new Lightning Lane multipass system to make that is an accomplishment for sure. To make our selections for our trip coming up next week. Gosh, I wish we had something planned that we could get out there and see you, Chris.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to make it out this week for your trip, but sometime in the future, we definitely need to make that happen, but I'm sure you'll have a wonderful trip." Anyway, he went on to say, "Looking forward to being at Walt Disney World again, even if it is for a short trip, and very excited to be experiencing Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party for the first time. Also, it's been great watching my daughter Megan get so excited to watch the Olympics, especially the strong female role models that made up the women's gymnastics team. Her teacher's assistant at school this year was from Brazil, so she was also very excited that they did well. The whole experience has turned our living room into a gymnastics arena, and no piece of furniture is safe from becoming an apparatus. I don't think she has a future in the sport because she inherited her dad's craze, but it's great to see her so enthusiastic. Thanks as always for being such a great and positive voice. Listening to you two is truly cathartic, and I look forward to every episode." Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's great, and I love that story. Also, a shout out to Chris, who's back into gearing up for some more runs. And I know, after having to heal from some injuries, it's hard to get back onto that track. And I know it's hard, but congratulations to you for getting back there and bearing through some of the initial pains. You're going to do great.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you can take, when you're running consistently, it's always painful. It is. But you could take even just a week off of not running, and then suddenly it's like you took 10 steps back. It's amazing how just a time off can really take it out of you. But yeah, credit to anybody who stops for a little bit, then gets back into it and gets going. And Chris, you got this.
Yes.
You got this. That should have been another favorite thing from this week, is that we nabbed a spot at the Princess 10K coming up in February that we're excited about as well. So and
passes for the Moonlight Magic at Disney Hollywood Studios.
We got some good stuff coming up for sure. We also got this from Tony the Disney Dad. He said, "Best thing from this week, a quick Walt Disney World trip with my wife to do the Keys to the Kingdom tour and to stay at the Polynesian. A fantastic tour and trip." That's awesome, Tony. So excited that you guys got to experience that from just that quick trip. That's really cool.
Yeah. And if anybody knows how to pack in a lot of fun in a quick trip to Disney, it's Tony and his family. So that's awesome. We're very happy for you.
Yeah, not bad. The Poly and Keys to the Kingdom is two of our favorite things in the world. We love that tour. We love that resort. That's amazing.
Right.
Good for him.
Yep.
Good for him. Cool stuff. So let's go ahead and move on to this week's show. We have lots of stuff for you this week, including we learned a lot about what to expect when the Disney Destiny hits the high seas, including when you'll have your first chance to sail aboard her. And the themes were announced, speaking of Run Disney, for next year's Springtime Surprise Race Weekend. We'll tell you all about that as well. But that's later. Let's go ahead and get to our very Olympic main topic of the week. So yes, for this week's main topic, as we mentioned, we are really loving the Olympics. We love the Olympics every 4 years. Well, I guess it's every 2 years when you count the Winter Olympics, right. Kind of splitting the difference there. We love all the Olympics. We love the Winter Games. We love the Summer Games. We love everything about it. And we also, obviously, love Disney a lot. So we figured, hey, how can we kind of mash those two things we love up together? And we decided to create our own Disney Character Olympics, talking about what Disney characters we would like to see perform and what event would they perform in, right, Michelle?
That's right. Yeah, it's one of those fun little activities you might just do at home anyways, and we thought, why not share what we came up with?
Yeah, so we kind of came up with a list of our own, and we did get some listeners who chimed in and gave us their input as well, but they had some really fantastic ones. I'm going to tell you right now, Michelle's list will be the best list, of course, but some of these listeners' lists are going to blow mine out of the water for sure, 100%. So we'll get to those after we get to ours. I didn't really rank them. I just kind of went through them. So I don't know how you did it, Michelle, but
yeah, I just came up, not all the events, but several of the events and who I thought would be good to be participants.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll just kind of go through them. It doesn't necessarily need to be a top 5 or a Hyperion top 5 list, but just kind of what we'd like to see. So why don't we go ahead and go with your first Disney character Olympian? Well,
okay. So again, I did this by event. And so the first one I started out with was archery. And actually, I came up with 2. I do want to mention, for my list, I pretty much kept with Disney Animation Studio characters.
Oh, that's interesting. I went a little bit all over the board.
Yeah, I thought about doing that, but I thought, let me try to be down one pathway, because there's definitely treasure trove of characters to choose from there. But for archery, I would say Merida and Mulan. Obviously, I think both of them have demonstrated skills with bow and arrow that they would be top notch to be in that kind of a competition.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I didn't have Mulan, but it's interesting because my first one is also archery, but I did not have Mulan included in mine. What I did, I thought was kind of interesting. We've just, within the last couple of days, have seen mixed races, both swimming and track, where it's men and women both competing. Right. I thought that's fascinating. I love it. I think it's a wonderful new addition to the Olympics that they're doing these relays involving men and women on the same athletic field or pool or wherever at the same time. And so I thought maybe a mixed team archery matchup might be fun. And I'm going to go with just 2 regions. I'm going to go with the UK versus the US. And for the UK, I'm going to have Robin Hood and Merida going up against Hawkeye and Kate Bishop in an archery mashup to end all archery matchups.
Wow, that is cool. I love it. Definitely. Very creative there, honey. Your list, I think, is going to blow mine out of the water, but I like that. I like that. It's a great start.
So, let's go ahead and get to your next one. What do you have as your next event and participant?
So my next event, it would be gymnastics, and I thought Tigger. I mean, the dude can bounce.
He definitely can.
And he sticks the landing. And for the women's gymnastics, I thought Judy Hopps. Again, same kind of obvious, I guess, maybe a little too obvious, but definitely can jump and get high into the air and do those. I like it. Yeah, I mean, and we saw, what she did to train to become a police officer, so she definitely can navigate through obstacles and things like that as well. So.
Very good, very good. Well, that leads right into my next one because I was thinking maybe for the marathon, that a wonderful participant for the marathon would be, yes, from Zootopia, Judy Hopps.
Ooh.
And the reason why I think she'd be great, yeah, she has little legs. I mean, she does have some speed, but the one thing we know about Judy Hopps is she doesn't know when to quit. She will do those full 26 miles. And she will do her best at it. And she is competitive. Believe me, she's going to want to win. I think we could see her do fantastic in the marathon.
That's awesome. Very good. Very good.
All right. What do you got next, Michelle? Who's your next Disney character Olympian?
All right. So in the category of surfing, okay, another obvious one, but I, just love this character, and that's Nani, Lilo's sister. We've seen how well she rides those waves, and like I said, she's a great character, a great role model, and I think it's just natural to have her in that sport.
I agree. That's a great choice. You can do that Hawaiian roller coaster ride
exactly.
out there. She just head a little ways down south from Hawaii to Tahiti for this year to do those surfing competitions. I like it. I like it. Good choice. Great choice. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the equestrian steeplechase of all things. And my participant in that, as long as she has a carousel horse, would be Mary Poppins. We've seen her win a race with a carousel horse. I think that she would have no problems getting through that equestrian steeplechase aboard that horse that looks very much like her.
That's true. That is awesome. I love that. I did have equestrian also on my list, but I went a little different direction from Mary Poppins. I love that one. I have Gaston competing. We know he looks so good. And actually in the live action film, his horse
he's exceptional expectorating. Is that what it is?
True. But in the live action, his horse was called Magnifique. So I just thought, being in Paris and Gaston being from France and equestrian and again looking good. I'm sure he could look good riding a horse.
He'd be too busy looking in the mirror. No, I like it. I love Gaston as a villain. Gaston's such a great villain. Such a great meet in the parks.
Right.
When you get to do a character meet and greet with Gaston,
yes,
he's always fantastic.
That is true.
So, good choice.
Thank
good
you.
Choice.
All right, so.
Well, my next one is pretty darn obvious, I think. Let's go to the Marvel Universe and let's go ahead and go to Asgard, representing out of the Marvel Universe. And we'll talk about, yes, the one and only Thor. And what would Thor do? Well, of course, it's got to be the hammer throw. No one's beating Thor in the hammer throw.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe Cap?
Maybe Cap.
I think Thor still have a little bit better control. Cap's kind of, maybe Cap gets the silver and Thor gets the gold.
I love it. Oh, man, that's a good one. Maybe.
Okay, who else? You got another one?
All right, let's see. So another one that I have would be in beach volleyball. And I go with another villain here, and that would be Ursula. I mean, she doesn't even need to have anyone else on her team. She can handle it all.
All those tentacles.
All those tentacles all over the place there.
I like it. Ursula. Doesn't seem like she'd move around the court very well, but I guess you don't have to when you have those tentacles
right,
going, right?
Yeah. She kind of can position herself more center and just cover the whole
I love that
whole
choice.
Field. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
What about you?
Well, my next Disney character Olympian would be in the sport of gymnastics. We're back to gymnastics once again. And look, we've seen this character do so many amazing things from different ways. I have no doubt that this character would be spectacular at gymnastics, would just dominate all the competition, and of course, use that amazing tail of his to benefit him. And of course, I'm talking about, well, if it isn't Perry the Platypus. I think he would be a spectacular gymnast performing all the floor routines, the pommel horse. Forget about the parallel bars. He would be amazing.
I couldn't agree more. And he's such a great character anyways. And put him in that kind of position, he would be stellar for sure. I love it. Smart.
A platypus gymnast? Perry the Platypus gymnast?
Oh my gosh.
Do you have any more?
I do. So for swimming, in the category of swimming, I would have Sisu. I mean, that was her special dragon power.
That is true.
So I think she would be a great gymnast to have out there and do amazing things with different types of swimming competitions.
Plus, what a personality to be there for the interviews and everything. You know, she'd be great. I agree.
And she would look great sporting a gold medal.
That is very true. Very true. I like it. That's a good choice. I got another one. I'm going to go back to gymnastics once again, this time for the women's gymnastics. And I'm going to go with, we all know, hashtag real men love Tangled. Rapunzel is going to use that hair to help her definitely get on the parallel bars, whatever it might be. You never know where that hair will come into, but she would definitely use it to the best of her abilities, and she would be stunning out there on the floor routine, and even parallel bars, the vault, whatever. Rapunzel would get it done.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen her make some moves in the film, so for sure she would be excellent in that. Good choice.
Very good. You got anybody else?
I do. My next one goes into the category of fencing. Now here's one. I do have one that's with Disney Animation Studio, but if just to say anybody with fencing, I would like to see Jack Sparrow in competition of
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I think he'd be an interesting competitor to see in that sport.
Would be a very interesting competitor.
Right.
In any sport.
That's true. But staying with my original theme of Disney Animation Studio film characters, I would have to say Raya. She's definitely shown that she has some mad skills when wielding a sword, and I think she would be great at this competition.
Very good. I like that. I like Raya.
All right.
Yeah, a couple Raya references going into this one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you. Okay. What
you mentioned Jack Sparrow, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
This is my last one. I got one more. Yes. Captain Jack Sparrow. And it's not that I actually think he would do great at this event. I just need to see it. I need to see Captain Jack Sparrow run the 100-meter dash, because seeing him run down 100 meters with that run that he has would be amazing, hilarious, wonderful, awesome, all things great. It would be spectacular. That's why I need to see it happen.
For sure. I'd like to see him. I totally agree. And maybe put him next to Woody. See the two of them running. That would be awesome.
That would be something for sure.
Yeah.
I like it. So that's my last one. Do you have any others?
I do. I'm still thinking about Jack Sparrow running. That's great.
Awesome.
I do have a few more. So we'll go to a sailing competition. Moana.
Oh, yeah.
It's her passion, her calling. I'm sure she would be spectacular
she learned a lot from
that.
Maui. Yep.
Yes. Now for a new competition that was just added to the Paris Olympics, and that is canoe slalom cross heat. And okay, so first of all, let me explain this. If you haven't seen it, it's where they're in kayaks and they have 4 competitors lined up together on this platform that does this tremendous drop into the rapids.
Basically just dumps them into the water.
Dumps them in. And so they're trying to run the rapids, and kind of like in a slalom, they have certain, these hanging bumper pads that they have to go past and bump. The red ones they have to go around. Partway through it, there's this low bar across the streamline that they actually have to flip on to go underneath that bar by being in the water underneath, their head part underneath, and then turn themselves right back up to finish the track. It's just, it's fun looking. It's a lot of energy. And I think Donald, Huey, Dewey, and Louie would be perfect to compete
What a race.
in that race. And I have to tell you, for those of you who have not seen this, it's great to watch. It's a great heat to watch.
Yeah. You just showed me a little piece of it before we got on the air here, and I'm like, oh, we got to watch more of this later today.
Yeah.
Really
I mean,
cool. All the kayak and canoe stuff has been spectacular actually to watch.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
They also added breakdancing, as we know.
Oh, that's right, breaking.
Yeah, breaking. And who else but Goofy has to do that? I mean, we know he likes to dance, and he's done videos on how to dance. He breaks things all the time with his moves, so I just think he would be a natural at that competition.
And he's got to perform. I mean, Louis, we've seen him. He does everything, right? So why
Right.
not? He needs to be some part of this Olympics.
Right. And my last one, under the category of synchronized diving, and I would have to say Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Those two are totally synchronized, and I think they would be winners all the way around.
They are winners all the way around.
That's
for
right.
Sure. Very good. I like it. Michelle's list, definitely the best list.
I don't know about that. Yours had some pretty fun things.
Let's get to some other really great lists that we got from some of our listeners. This came again from Chris of Mazza's Musings podcast, which you should listen to. Really, it's a great show. Talks about Disney, talks about sports. It's really good stuff. He's putting together a great show, and we even made an appearance a few weeks back talking Run Disney with him. Anyway, he said, "Are we just talking Summer Olympics?" And that's kind of what we did, but I'm okay if you added Winter Olympics into yours either. It doesn't matter to me. He said the weightlifting team of Hercules, Mr. Incredible, and Luisa.
Perfect.
I like that. Very good. He said, Luisa Madrigal, he said they would clean house. No question about it. That would be a very tough weightlifting team to beat.
Yeah.
No question. I love this. For fencing, he had Maximus, the horse from Tangled.
Yeah.
You remember that scene where he's there with a sword in his mouth and fencing? I love that. He said he would also accept Will Turner. Yes, Will Turner would be a fantastic fencer as well. Dash 100 meter. Well, dash.
For sure, yeah.
David Kawena for surfing, again from Lilo and Stitch.
Yep.
The other part of that Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Yeah. That one almost made my list too.
This one made me chuckle. Maid Marian for badminton. Love that. That's so good. Next up was Merida for archery. Yes. Moana for canoe sprint.
Nice.
And then Mulan for either judo or taekwondo. He said, I know neither are Chinese fighting styles, but our girl knows how to handle herself. I agree. Mulan
absolutely.
would have all those down. No question about it. She would be fantastic. This came to Facebook from Disney Assembled, another great podcast that you should check out at some point. They put in Moana for sailing, windsurfing, and rowing. So lots of stuff there for Moana. For swimming, well, Ariel. Totally makes sense. I think she has a little bit of an advantage there. But
Right. That's a given. Yeah, for sure.
And another great one for swimming, which I meant to put on our list, but I forgot, would be Luca. I think Luca would be a great swimmer as well.
Yep.
They also had Maximus for the equestrian events. Very good.
Perfect.
Tarzan for gymnastics, for sure. I could just see Tarzan on the rings. There's no question he would do fantastic on the rings. And Robin Hood for archery. Very good.
I like that. Yeah. Love those. Love those.
So this one came from Sue in the UK. She said, okay, off the top of my head, Ariel for swimming. Hercules, weightlifting. Yes. She also had Tigger, but she had Tigger for the high jump.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Definitely going to bounce right over that bar, no question. Sue went to the Winter Olympics for ice skating and chose #Real Men Love Frozen Elsa for ice skating. And she also mentioned, can I have from Marvel, Captain America for discus throwing? Yes. Absolutely, 100%. That's a great choice.
For sure.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah.
This one came from Charles from the Conversations podcast. Another great show if you love Star Wars.
Which, by the way, there was something that almost made my favorite thing of the week list with their show. Scott and I were going out and doing some errands the other day and listening to their newest release, and they mentioned his name, and we were in the car, and he just looked at me like, they're talking about me. With a big old grin, and I'm like, yeah, it's you.
Well, he is one of their 3 listeners, so yes, absolutely.
Definitely am the biggest fan. Well, I'm a big fan too, but yes.
Yeah, those are 2 of the 3 listeners.
You're so bad.
I know. No, those guys are great. They're great.
Yes.
They have a great show, talking Star Wars, but they're just great guys, and they're fun guys, and they're positive guys. So definitely check out their show.
Yeah.
As you would expect, Charles had a very Star Wars list of participants in the Olympic participants. For weightlifting, he had Wrecker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from the Bad Batch.
Right.
Wrecker. For fencing, he had Anakin and Obi-Wan. Definitely. That would be quite a duel between the 2 of them.
We know who's going to get the high ground.
That's for sure. For men's open fire pistol, he had Captain Rex. And for water polo, Master Kit Fisto. Definitely. He would dominate at water polo and abs. If there was a pose where you just want to look at abs, that's Kit Fisto.
Yeah, for sure.
So great list, Charles.
Yes,
thank you very
bravo.
much. Finally, we have one more. This came from Tony the Disney Dad. He said, Captain America has to do the discus throw. Absolutely. Thor would do the javelin. So Thor's doing the hammer throw and the javelin. Very good. Just like Captain America apparently is doing the hammer throw and the discus. Riley from Inside Out for hockey.
Nice. Yes.
So she's very good at hockey. We know that. She'd be great. Mary Poppins for the high jump, as long as umbrellas are allowed. Yes, for sure. But we all know Goofy would dominate based on the 1942 documentary Goofy, the Olympic Champ. Yes, for sure. Goofy dominates everywhere.
Right. Yes. He was kind of our inspiration for this episode, and great list to everybody. And now that, everybody's mentioning Captain America with the discus, I'm thinking he would be good on the pommel horse too.
Captain America. He is Captain America.
I know.
He would do it all, and he could do it all day. I mean, that is all there is to it.
There you go.
There's no question about that. But I loved all these lists.
Yes.
Everybody had such creative thinking behind their characters. We would still love to hear yours. Please share them with us. I'll put them out there on our Hyperion mornings. I'll add them to an upcoming show for sure. We would love to hear who your Disney Olympians would be. I can't get over what great lists we got from our listeners, from you. They're so creative and interesting and thinking how these Disney characters would fit into the Olympics. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was fun. And your list, you had a good one too. A good one list, maybe not one choice.
Yeah, I think I finished off the podium here.
No.
But I appreciate it. Everybody just did a great job.
Yes.
It was so good, so good. Now, before we get to the Disney stories of the week, we are doing this thing, 52 weeks, 52 interesting facts about Lin-Manuel Miranda. Yes, it is the year of Lin, where we are desperately trying to find some way for Lin-Manuel Miranda to acknowledge this show for the 10th anniversary of Hamilton, on Broadway, the 5th anniversary of Hamilton on Disney Plus coming up here next year. So we are kind to put out a little Lin-Manuel Miranda something every single week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes. And for this week's episode, Lin has some interesting ties, sort of, in a way, to the Olympics, including something that happened just this week during the men's Olympics team final.
These guys epitomize champions today. No mistakes. They were hungry. Like Lin-Manuel Miranda says, they were young, scrappy, and hungry. And they came in, man, and they got it done. What a performance.
Yes, so that was the NBC announcers talking about the men's gymnastics team. They earned bronze. Congratulations to them this week. And so it got me thinking, is there any other ties that, Lin-Manuel Miranda or Hamilton or whatever have with Olympic events? And there are actually a few things out there that are interesting. In 2018, American figure skater Jason Brown performed a routine set to The Room Where It Happens from Hamilton at the U.S. Championship that earned him a 93.23 score. Very good score. Speaking of The Room Where It Happens, U.S. gymnast Lori Hernandez, who you may have heard on some of the women's gymnastics, she's doing color commentary for that. She used the same song, The Room Where It Happens, for her floor exercise routine in the 2021 Winter Cup. Very cool. Wow. And she even put out a little social media post of, hey, Lynn, what did you think about it? Very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Lori Hernandez, she was a part of the 2016 Rio Olympic gymnastics team, along with Simone Biles, the GOAT, that celebrated winning gold medal with a trip to see... Yes, Hamilton on Broadway, where they were invited afterwards on stage, met the cast, and took pictures with them and everything. So, yeah, there is a little bit of tie-in with Lynn and Hamilton with the U.S. Olympic team and the Olympics in general.
Cool. Well, I knew you were going to have a creative way to include the moment of Lynn or the week of Lynn.
The year of Lynn.
The year of Lynn.
Not just a moment. It's not just a moment. It's a movement. We are definitely going to be adding more stuff as we go through. And I just thought that was kind of some fun stuff that I saw out there that I thought everybody might enjoy.
Yeah, perfect.
As we're talking about our year of Lynn.
Great fun facts there, baby.
Now, one more thing we need to do before we get to our Disney stories of the week. We need to talk about our great friend Nate with Main Street and More Travel, because let's face it, we all have trips we're thinking about taking in the very near future. Well, if you do, whether it be to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise, or anywhere in the world beyond, let me tell you, Nate is the certified Disney vacation planner that you are going to want to get in contact with.
Oh my gosh, for sure. As we, mention all the time, he really has firsthand knowledge of things, so he can really help you plan, customize a trip that is going to be the best for you, answer your questions. It's really concierge level planning that doesn't cost you anything.
High end. It is high end stuff that he will help you out with, answer all your questions. He is there for you to make sure your trip, wherever it may be the best it possibly can be. And as Michelle mentioned, no extra cost to you. That's because either Disney or whatever other travel branch that he works through pays him for you. What you end up paying is exactly what you pay if you did all that work yourself. Only you can save that time and just relax and enjoy and let him set it all up for you.
Right. And you know what? He may even be able to save you some money from you doing it alone, because he is on top of all the deals and steals that are out there.
Yeah. There's never a guarantee, but let me tell you, if there's a discount out there, Nate will find it for you. So what you got to do is go to DizTripsAndMore.com, fill out the form there, and just contact him, talk to him, tell him what you want to do, and let him get to work for you.
Right. So as Tom mentioned, once you fill out that form, Nate will be back in touch with you to start that planning, but be sure to tell him that Tom and Michelle sent you.
Yeah. Again, that's Nate with Main Street and More Travel. All right, let's get to the Disney stories of the week. Not a ton of stuff, but there was some interesting things that came out. Obviously they're holding back for the D23 Expo coming up here. We are less than a week out, everybody.
Yes.
Batten down the hatches.
That's
There's
right.
going to be some interesting stuff happens this week, but there was some news, and that just tells you the fact that they were able to put out all this news means that they have a lot of stuff they're going to be talking about, especially for the Parks and Experiences panel. So this we learned a ton about the Disney Destiny, including when you'll have the opportunity to sail aboard her. And a lot of this stuff came from Walt Disney Company press releases. They did 3 days of releasing different interesting things that are going to be coming to the Disney Destiny, the next Disney cruise ship. Well, not the next. Actually, the Disney Treasure, by the way, which just sailed out. It did its sail out of the Meyer Werft shipyard just yesterday morning as we're recording this. So it is out of the shipyard. It is now going to have some things that they can put on near the top of it that are like maybe too tall to put within that dry dock. And then once they get done with that, then they'll sail it down the Ems River and then out to sea for their sea testing. But it's getting closer to the Disney Treasure.
Yes.
And yes, the Disney Destiny is on its way as well. I'm not going to go through everything that they had, but just some things that kind of tickled my fancy more than anything else. We love lounges.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be some cool lounges coming for this ship once it debuts, including how about DeVille's Piano Lounge, which they say will no doubt be a lavish affair befitting the bar's namesake, the fabulously over-the-top villain from Walt Disney Animation Studios' 101 Dalmatians and Walt Disney Studios live-action Cruella. Cruella's infamous flair for style and wickedly bold attitude will be reflected in the Hollywood Regency-inspired aesthetic of the adult-exclusive lounge, which will be adorned in her signature color palette, red, black, and white. Amid sultry tunes from the spotted piano, guests will wind down in style with trendy martinis, chic cocktails, and glamorous wines and bubblies. That is right up our alley.
I love it. I love it. I love how they're, using Disney Animation Studio films and characters in some of their newest ship designs, especially in the lounges. Like on the Treasure, they're having the one that's associated with the Aristocats, and so this fits right into that theme. Plus, it's including the villain, which is awesome.
Right, which is what this ship is all about. It's all about heroes and villains.
Right.
So you're going to get a lot of both throughout this ship. And yeah, a lounge with Cruella DeVille, who is, again, I hope she meets and greets there, because Cruella DeVille, talk about another great meet and greet. If you can find her somewhere in the parks just strolling around, she is always on her game.
That's true.
Sure.
And it makes total sense having it as a piano bar, because that's where we first hear the theme song for Cruella DeVille on the 101 Dalmatians.
Very
film.
good.
So.
Yep, very good. How about another lounge based on an attraction? Well, drink up me hearties, yo-ho! Ahoy, mateys! At Cask and Cannon, guests will join the ranks of the Pirates of the Caribbean for an evening of revelry, recreation, and, of course, rum. Inspired by the iconic characters and scenes from the beloved Disney parks attractions around the world, the Cask and Cannon pub will be an eclectic yet cozy watering hole furnished with treasures, quote-unquote, acquired, read pillaged and pilfered during the pirates' many voyages around the globe. At Cask and Cannon, visiting buccaneers will regale one another with tales of their own high seas adventures, cheer and jeer during live televised sporting events, and indulge in an extensive menu of rare specialty and vintage rums. You're right up my alley there. And a selection of bootleg brews developed specially for the venue and served straight from the barrel in true pirate style. I love it.
Perfect.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it. I love it.
Spectacular.
Yeah, so good. And yes, there's going to be another lounge based on an attraction, a Disney attraction. It's already going to be aboard the Disney Treasure, but it will also be aboard the Disney Destiny. Foolish mortals will be welcome to sip spirited craft cocktails among the 999 happy haunts of Disney Parks lore at the Haunted Mansion Parlor. So if you're going to do some of the shorter cruises, you will have also that ability to do the Haunted Mansion Parlor on this ship as well. They say reminiscent of a first-class drawing room from the classic cruise liners of the Golden Age, this experience will debut aboard the Disney Treasure in December 2024, and then it will be aboard the Disney Destiny. The venue will follow the nostalgic art style of the 1969 Disney Parks classic, blending humor with Disney's distinct brand of spooky storytelling. Legendary characters from Haunted Mansion attractions around the world will come out to socialize in mysterious ways throughout the experience, along with a few new seafaring arrivals and an original storyline focused on a ship captain. A custom musical arrangement inspired by the attraction's original score will set the stage for an ever-escalating anthology of illusions that immerses guests into the next chapter of Haunted Mansion lore. I don't know whether it'll be aboard the Treasure, whether it'll be aboard the Destiny, but I cannot wait, or both. I cannot wait to check out that lounge.
Oh, agreed, totally. I mean, one, it's fun that they're doing lounges themed towards attractions, but to have like that one that that also pays honor to the Imagineers that came up with the concepts of the original attraction, Haunted Mansion. I think it's great. They've included wonderful storytelling with this, and it's so exciting to see that going to be unveiled in their newer ships.
Yeah, amazing. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And some people are like, well, you got the same lounge aboard two different ships. I don't have a problem with it. Again, I think that the Treasure is going to be sailing on 7-night mostly sailings. This is going to be, it looks like it's going to be 4 and 5-night sailings, so a little bit shorter. So depending on what your preference is, you could do both, or it gives you the opportunity to sail on a shorter cruise and still get the chance to experience the same lounge, which is going to be a hit. I have no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt.
Definitely.
Let's talk a little bit of rotational dining, because Disney's famous for the rotational dining venues. And some of this will be very similar to what you've seen aboard the Wish and what's coming aboard the Treasure. There will be 1923, which will be one of their dining destinations. Worlds of Marvel will be the other one. Their third, aboard the Disney Wish, it is the Frozen dinner show. Aboard the Disney Treasure, it's going to be the Coco dinner show. Aboard the Disney Destiny, it's going to be the Lion King focused. This story says the iconic songs and legendary moments of the Lion King will come to life at Pride Land's Feast of the Lion King, a first of its kind dining experience celebrating the renowned music of the Walt Disney Animation Studios film that continues to transcend generations. The Savannah-inspired venue will bring unique depictions of animals and nature to life through lighting and special effects, while the window-lined back wall will transform from stunning sunrises to enchanting sunsets throughout the meal. As families dine, a colorful ensemble of live musicians and storytellers will take the stage in the center of the restaurant, complete with tiered risers that evoked African drums as they present a musical journey through the award-winning soundtrack. Performances will include productions of Circle of Life and Hakuna Matata, plus a mashup of I Just Can't Wait to Be King and Be Prepared, a fun take that highlights the hero-villain dynamic of the story. It sounds amazing.
It does. It sounds like a great dinner show that is going to be enjoyed by kids and adults. So I think it's a winner of a theme. Goes along with that, heroes and villains. It just all works together. The costuming that they kind of showed, the artist rendering, but pulling from the Broadway costuming, theming ideas, I think is just going to elevate the experience that people have when they dine in that restaurant.
We love it. We love all the dinner show. We loved it when we did it on the Wish for the Arendelle one, the Frozen show. Love that. We love Coco. We cannot wait to see Coco aboard the Disney Treasure, but we also love the Lion King, and I think this is going to be a spectacular. And plus, I think the food is going to be unique and interesting that goes along with it as well.
Right.
I cannot wait to find out what the menu is going to be like, as well as this show.
For sure.
Yeah. So also the Aqua Mouse will be aboard this ship as well, just like it is on the Wish and coming on the Treasure. But it'll have a little bit different storyline. On the Disney Destiny, it will introduce a quirky storyline filled with Disney animation villains to Aqua Mouse. Disney Cruise Line's signature attraction at sea, a 760-foot long water ride towering over the upper decks of the ship, featuring an original soundtrack written exclusively for Disney Cruise Line by Emmy Award-winning composer Christopher Willis and lyricist Elise Willis. The new show will exemplify the signature silliness of Mickey Mouse animated shorts, which we love very much. In Sing a Silly Song, Mickey and Minnie will lead guests on a seemingly ominous trek to the peak of Villain Mountain. When faced with some of the most fearsome villains of Disney animation lore, the duo will employ a silly song and a bit of pixie dust to transform each chilling encounter into a wacky surprise. Sounds so fun.
It does. It's, we went on that on the Wish and loved it. It's a unique water ride that you can experience on that ship, and seeing that come and be individualized for each of these ships really makes it such a unique experience to be able to do over and over.
Yeah. That there are going to be different storylines for the Treasure, for the Wish, and now for the Destiny as well. And they kind of coincide with what's going on with the theming of each ship.
Yeah.
That's great. Speaking of great theming, this ship is going to put Marvel to the center stage. I mean, literally to the center stage. The Grand Hall of the Disney Destiny will be its most striking and prominent gathering space, a mythical realm that welcomes guests to a world of epic dualities, heroes and villains, adventure and relaxation, inspired by rich lore, distinctive iconography, and vibrant palette of Marvel Studios' Black Panther films. The Grand Hall will be Disney Cruise Line's Kingdom of the Seas. The Walt Disney Imagineering team consulted with the costume team from the Black Panther movies, and those insights helped fashion the creative vision for this space, including metalwork on the pillars inspired by the banded armor and stacked jewelry found in Wakanda, a breathtaking light feature inspired by vibranium, the rare metallic ore found in Wakanda, and will generate show-stopping effects that fill the room with life and color. Oh, and presiding over the Grand Hall, I'm getting choked up. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect this. Over the Grand Hall will be a statue of T'Challa.
Yeah.
The Black Panther, King of Wakanda, devoted son and beloved brother, sworn to protect not only his kingdom, but the Disney Destiny. Sorry.
It's cute.
I was not expecting to get broken up about that, but oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love it so much. They have a concept artwork of the statue. It is phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. It's all, I've mentioned this in past episodes, but how they actually go back to the creators of these original films to make sure that it's a fluid transition and consistent imaging. And so they did that again with this, obviously, and bringing the life of Black Panther to the ship is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and if anybody deserves a statue,
yes,
it's T'Challa.
Right, right.
The Black Panther, 100%. And I'm so happy. I'm so want to get on the Disney Destiny just to take a million pictures with that. So great. Some other things there, Marvel based. We already talked about the Worlds of Marvel dining room, which they'll have again. It'll be on that ship as well. But also there'll be the Sanctum, which will be Disney Cruise Line's first lounge inspired by the powerful sorcerers and mystical artifacts of Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange. The centrally located entertainment parlor will host a variety of activities throughout the voyage, offering guests a magical array of cocktails, spirits, and coffees. And like all Sanctums, this venue will contain mystical items designed to aid sorcerers in protecting the world. Guests will discover unique surprises from Doctor Strange's New York Sanctum, including a circular mirror behind the bar that evokes the building's iconic window. I love that. It's going to be that kind of portal.
Yeah, right. No, it's great. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, this is going to be the ship you want to sail on and experience all these unique visual things, but also interactive and places to hang out that you feel like you're immersed into the world of Marvel.
Yeah, and it won't only be on the inside of the ship. Marvel will also be on the outer portion of the ship, because for the first time in Disney Cruise Line history, a Marvel superhero will be the signature stern character. You know, all these Disney ships have characters on the stern of the ship. The Disney Destiny will have a larger-than-life sculpture, which will showcase Spider-Man and the Spider-Bots. They will be kind of hanging by webs on the back of the ship. Concept artwork looks great. Love it so much. I love that. Well, who doesn't love Spider-Man? For one thing, he's such a huge character for people young and old to love, and it's perfect for the back of the ship.
It definitely is. And I love that they added the spider bots, which, you know, are definitely come into play with the attraction that is at Avengers campuses. And so this is so cool.
Yeah.
So excited for this one.
Yeah. How are we going to book a cruise aboard the Disney Destiny? Well, guess what? You're going to get to be able to book it sooner than we thought, because we originally thought that this ship would start sailing in 2026. Well, guess what? It's sailing in 2025.
Yeah.
So that's at least what they're saying right now. It says the Disney Destiny will sail an inaugural season of 4 and 5 night cruises to the Bahamas and Western Caribbean from Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale, starting in November of 2025. And if you're looking to book, well, it's coming up fairly soon here. Bookings open up to the general public on Thursday, September 12th, 2024. That means if you have some Castaway Club ability, it'll be, and some other, different clubs, your days will be coming before that. So if you're thinking about doing this, you may want to start looking into it and deciding within the next several weeks, because there are some cruises coming up aboard the Disney Destiny.
Yeah, we may be able to use our rebooking discount for something coming up.
We will have to do that.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Nate, we'll probably be giving you another call. Just be ready for that. One more quick story. The themes were announced for next year's springtime surprise Run Disney race weekend. And this was a race that we weren't planning on taking part in. But after seeing these themes, it has us rethinking it a little bit. Maybe we do. We are going to be doing Princess for sure. We booked that this week. These themes, they are pretty enticing.
Yes.
The 5K is going to be based on Guardians of the Galaxy. And they specifically had Groot out front for
adorable,
it.
yeah.
They're all heroes. It's a heroic race is what they went on, the theme. The 10K, which is the one we're really thinking about, it's Hercules. We love Hercules so much. Oh, man. That really one, we may have to do that.
Yeah, I know. And how that song from, Go the Distance just is very much from a personal perspective close to me with running. I just thought, oh my gosh, yes.
So many reasons we may have to try and book that one. Their long race for these weekends are the 10 milers. They don't do the half marathon. They do the 10 milers. The 10 miler is based on the Incredibles, and they had Elastigirl right out front, which was fantastic. And we're not doing the challenge, I don't think. It's the challenge for this one is 3 races. It's the same mileage that you would do if you do the 2 race challenge from the other race weekends where you do the half marathon and the 10K. But since they do a 10 miler, kind of the 5K makes up that extra 3 miles that you miss out on the half marathon. But the challenge is tempting because another one of our all-time favorite characters, sort of a half-hearted mascot for our show, is the face of this. It is Baymax, and Big Hero 6 is the theme for the challenge, which is very tempting. I don't think we're going to do this challenge, but because it's 3 mornings in a row, you have to wake up early, which... But man, it's enticing for sure. I love the themes for this race.
Yeah, I think having the heroes and having them from all different genres like that is so intriguing and can fit anybody's preferences in one of those runs. Yeah,
so we have this is I think the general public opens for this in August. It's like August 26th or something like that. It's later this month. So we have a lot of thinking to do over the next few weeks about whether we're going to add that race to our Run Disney calendar coming up here in 2025.
Yeah, it's actually the general public sign up is for August 27th.
27th. So there you go. So know that going in. Of course, if you're part of Club Run Disney, you'd probably already know.
Right.
So you'll be doing that about a week ahead of that. But it's exciting.
Yeah.
Love the theming at the Run Disney races. So good. All right. Well, that's it for the Disney stories. Oh, Michelle has a Disney story, and we all know Michelle has the best Disney stories. Michelle, what is your Disney story?
All right. I don't know if this is a Disney story, but it's something that is a little announcement, kind of a gem that people might not be aware of. So I want to just share it with you all here. And if you're going to the D23 Expo event next week, there is going to be a panel that I don't know if most people have noticed this, but the topic of it is Walt Disney in Latin America. And they have some incredible historians, authors that are going to be part of that. But one of the things that they'll be featuring is a film that has not been shared with the general public before. So, and it's one of Walt and Lillian Disney on their travel to Cuba in 1931. So we're talking like 93 years ago.
Wow.
That this footage has only really been seen by family members and those, these obviously these historian authors that are going to be on that panel. So I would recommend people, if you're going to be out there, to check out the Disney Archive stage for that. And they're also selling a book there, and they'll be available for purchase and signing by the authors. It's going to be at booth 325, which is the Hyperion Historical Alliance, which we love that name. It's going to have their booth there. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the schedule for D23 yet and seen that, I think this is a gem of a panel that you're going to be able to get to experience.
Yes, and Michelle's story is always the best story, and it's very interesting that you brought up that story.
I know, right?
I'm not going to go anywhere farther than that, but it's very interesting.
It's a clue.
Now, let's get more of the best of Michelle. We can't leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And when we do this, well, we always start with Michelle because she's amazing. She's fantastic. She's all things great in the world. She has the best list. You just heard her. She got the gold medal for her list.
Yeah,
no question.
I don't think so.
She does the best research. You've heard that in the past as well. She also always has the very best tips. So let's get to it. Here's Michelle's tip of the week.
All right, so my tip of the week actually has some inspiration from the Olympics. And we've talked in the past how during our visit to Paris that we found an opportunity to just go sit at the Eiffel Tower. We had a bottle of champagne and we were just there in the evening watching it light up and everything and enjoying the ambiance. And I thought, gee, at Walt Disney World, I know that they have firework cruises, which are great to have an experience to watch the fireworks from the waters there at Walt Disney World. But let's say your plans don't include that. Another fun way of doing something that may be similar to what we did at Paris is maybe watching the fireworks from the beach at the Poly. Now, keep in mind, it is a popular viewing area, so you may want to get there earlier than you might otherwise think of. But you could bring a blanket. It might be one that you brought from home, or it might be a souvenir blanket you get from the gift shop, or maybe a souvenir beach towels, and pick up your favorite island concoction from Trader Sam's and then go sit out and enjoy the show. I mean, they do pump in the music outside there so you can enjoy all the feels that you get from watching the fireworks with the music playing. And it's a way to do it that's not maybe as costly as one of the cruises, or you might just not be able to fit that into your schedule, but still have a unique way to watch the fireworks.
Definitely is a wonderful destination to watch fireworks. We've been lucky enough to stay at the Poly many times. It is one of our home resorts with DVC, and we love taking in the fireworks from our balcony, but the beach as well.
Yeah.
Always great. Always a great spot to watch the fireworks.
So, anyways.
Very good. Michelle's tip, always the best tip. My tip this week, look, it is D23 Expo this week. And so we've discussed this many times. Michelle's brought it up. I've brought it up. If you're heading out there, we are completely jealous, but we are so happy for you all at the same time because we know you're going to have an amazing experience. We've gone a couple times and loved it each and every time we've gone. I just want to say this. Take it all in. It's not going to go perfect for you. There are going to be some things that go a little sideways. You may have to wait in some long lines. It will be crowded at times. But the energy, the positivity, the amazing Disney experience, it will come through and it will be what you remember when it's all said and done. You are going to love it. So take it all in. Take some notes. Take pictures. Enjoy the whole thing. Enjoy the positivity. Pack your patience, as Michelle will tell you as well, because there are times that it will be a little trying. It's a lot of people. It's a lot of waiting, but you get rewarded at the end. What we've experienced from it is we always remember the good stuff, and that's what we've taken out of D23. That's why we always want to go back.
Right, and I know the people who had selected for some reservation requests have gotten their notifications, and maybe you didn't get everything you wanted, but no doubt you're going to enjoy what you did get. And like I said, look look for some of these other little gems that might not be as highlighted or popular, but have some amazing, unique experiences that you wouldn't be able to get any other way, and have, as Tom said, enjoy yourself.
Yep. Enjoy it. And then we are, like I said, very jealous, but very, very happy for you all. The FOMO is real, 100%.
Yes.
It's going to be all this week, but we know you're all going to have a great time. So that's it for this week's show. We appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. I realized I forgot to tell you what's coming up next week.
I know. I was thinking that too. I
Yeah.
thought, he didn't make an announcement.
Yeah. It must be the cold medicine going on.
Yes.
Well, we were just talking D23 Expo. We will be talking about the D23 Expo, of course, because as we record this episode, the night before will be the Parks and Experiences panel. The Disney Entertainment panel will be the night before that. There'll be lots of stuff to discuss. I have no doubt it may be a super long episode to try and discuss everything that's going to come out of this and what our feelings are on it all, for sure.
Yeah, definitely doing a run through of all the exciting announcements of what's to come from Disney and whether Disney experiences, let's just say that.
Yeah, that's going to be the main thing. I mean,
Right.
yes, of course, the entertainment, what's going on with the Disney films, Lucasfilm, Marvel, Disney Plus, everything about that live action. We'll be talking all about that as well. But mostly it's going to be what's happening with the park and experiences, because they've set the stage, literally,
Right.
that this is going to be a big panel. I have no doubt that it really will be this
Exactly.
year. So, again, yes, please find us on HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. We are also on social media. We're on Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter. It's called X.
No, still known as Twitter. Everywhere that counts. At Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join us for some good, positive Disney energy fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. Also, we are on YouTube. If you want to find us there, and please find us, subscribe to us there. We're at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
And we'd love for you to share with your friends and family that this podcast exists.
Yeah, that's the best way to get the word out about it. Word of mouth, telling a friend, they tell two friends, and then they tell two friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. I'm
you
dating
use that
myself.
one. Yeah,
yes,
I know.
very much dating myself with that reference. But yes, that is a great way to let people know that this podcast exists, and we
Right.
want to build this community very much. So, and thanks to everybody that has told friends about it already in the past.
Yes.
And thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom,
I'm Michelle.
and we hope that you have a magical week.
Bye.